as it is advantaged India all the way with Operation Sindoor, bringing about a tectonic shift in our security doctrine. Yes, viewers, Operation Sindoor has changed India's security doctrine itself. Our new security policy, made official in so many words by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself during his address to the nation last night, is that India will henceforth consider any terror attack on our soil as an act of war and will be responded with punitive measures. I see a totally new India after Operation Sindoor. We will no longer be blackmailed by Pakistan by talking about its nuclear threshold. As Prime Minister Modi said, we will not be bothered or not tolerate Pakistan's nuclear blackmail. And to those who advocate dialogue, our Prime Minister said there can be talks only on the issue of terror and the return of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Prime Minister Modi countered President Trump and the United States by saying it was Pakistan who pleaded with India for the ceasefire and that Pakistan had gone pleading before the international community seeking to broker peace. President Trump said the United States told India and Pakistan that they would stop trade if ceasefire was not reached. But Prime Minister Modi said, without any mention of the United States whatsoever, that trade and talks cannot go together. The four-day war-like situation has also left the Pakistani military and the Pakistani establishment red-faced. In fact, the Indian armed forces embarrassed the Pakistani military to no end by taking their air assets and make their air force virtually untenable. Now, India has hit their air assets and made their air force virtually untenable. And by doing so, now China has been exposed because 80% of the military hardware that Pakistan has today is supplied by its all-weather ally China. So, Operation Sindoor has exposed Pakistan badly and Islamabad knows it very well. As Prime Minister Modi said, now Pakistan has to realize and act against their own terror network because its existence as a nation depends on whether or not it is able to eliminate terror nurtured by them over the years. To tell us where we stand as a nation after Operation Sindoor, I have with me a very esteemed panel today. Lieutenant General Arvinder Lamba, former Vice Chief of Army Staff. Also with me is Lieutenant General Rana Pratap Kalita, former GOC INC of the Army's Eastern Command. With me as well is Lieutenant General Nisikanta Singh, joining me from Manipur, and joining me from Arunachal Pradesh is Group Captain Mohanto Panging, a former Indian Air Force fighter pilot. Gentlemen, welcome to this discussion. Now, before we begin the discussion, let us listen some of the highlights made by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his address to the nation last night. Let's listen to what the Prime Minister had said.
कोई भी न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल भारत नहीं सहेगा। न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल की आड़ में पनप रहे आतंकी ठिकानों पर भारत सटीक और निर्णायक प्रहार करेगा। भारत का मत एकदम स्पष्ट है। टेरर और टॉक एक साथ नहीं हो सकते। टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता। हमने पाकिस्तान के आतंकी और सैन्य ठिकानों पर अपनी जवाबी कार्रवाई को अभी सिर्फ स्थगित किया है। आने वाले दिनों में हम पाकिस्तान के हर कदम को इस कसौटी पर मापेंगे कि वो क्या रवैया अपनाता है। भारत ने पहले 3 दिनों में ही पाकिस्तान को इतना तबाह कर दिया
जिसका उसे अंदाजा भी नहीं था।
हमारी घोषित नीति रही है, अगर पाकिस्तान से बात होगी तो टेररिज्म पर ही होगी। अगर पाकिस्तान से बात होगी तो पाक ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर पीओके उस पर ही होगी। सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक और एयर स्ट्राइक के बाद अब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर आतंक के खिलाफ भारत की नीति है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने आतंक के खिलाफ लड़ाई में एक नई लकीर खींच दी है, एक नया पैमाना, न्यू नॉर्मल तय कर दिया है।
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर भारत की आतंक के खिलाफ नई नीति है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर इज द न्यू नॉर्मल। लेट मी गो टू जनरल लांबा। जनरल लांबा, now do you agree that India's security doctrine itself has undergone a tectonic shift? Our security doctrine itself has changed. Do you agree?
Wasbir, indeed, it's a paradigm shift. In fact, I go to the extent of saying that this is, for the first time, a paradigm change that has witnessed institutionalization of a very strong anti-terror doctrine. A shift in the overall strategic doctrine would take place. But if you pick up the anti-terror doctrine, I think it's the new paradigm that the Prime Minister has added to our security environment and to our security responses as they will be. And like he said, 3 or 4 things quickly strike us. And the first one being that this is a new anti-terror doctrine that guidelines India to respond to terror on its own terms. Nuclear threats or a nuclear blackmail will not be tolerated anymore. He has actually called out the nuclear bluff. And finally, the key word, the key paradigm that he has induced is that an act of terror is an act of war. So putting all this together and looking westbound, I think this is the key change that will imply further changes into our strategy and implementation at the highest level, at the operational level, and at the tactical level.
Right.
And having said, and I just want to add 3 things, that this is the new normal. When a Prime Minister says this is the new normal, there is no escalation, there is no ladder, and there are no levels of terror that will have to be considered before a response.
Absolutely. Let me go to welcome Group Captain Mohanto Panging, Lieutenant General Rana Pratap Kalita. General Kalita, it has been, this message could not have been more clearer than this. Now, what is the strength? Because we have a lot of strength that has been demonstrated in the last 4 days of the warlike situation. India demonstrated its strength, and therefore, it's a new India, isn't it? To shift from its age-old security doctrine. Whenever earlier there used to be a terror strike, of course during the last 10 years it has been different. After Uri we saw the surgical strike, after Pulwama we saw the air strike, and after these 26 innocent people were killed, we are seeing Operation Sindoor. How do you look at this shift in the India's security policy? Now it is institutionalized by the Prime Minister when he declared that Operation Sindoor is going to be the new normal.
You see, Wasbir, earlier India has been identified as a country which has been following the policy of strategic restraint. It used to be termed as strategic restraint, and the entire world used to continue to believe that India can suffer reverses but still exercise restraint and probably take it up at different levels to resolve the issues. Now, firstly, we have moved away from that strategic restraint to undertaking resolute measures in the national interest. So that is the biggest shift which has taken place. from restraint to being proactive and taking resolute measures. That is the first change which has taken place. And I think this message has not only gone to the terrorists and their handlers in Pakistan, it has also gone to the entire international community that this is a new India, this is a new emerging India, confident of herself, and it will bring to bear all the instruments of national power, political, economic, diplomatic, as well as military, to bear on anything that tries to harm the India's interest. So that's the biggest change we have seen. And what we have also seen is the entire nation unifying with one single resolve.
Yes.
That enough is enough. We need to punish. The erring people from Pakistan as well as the terrorists, cutting across the political parties, caste, religion, everything. I think the entire nation was united, and the nation displayed that desired resolve, which is required in such times of crisis. That's another, main highlight of this particular 4-day or 5-day limited conflict or limited war or a war, whatever you may call.
Right.
And the third issue I would like to bring out is the utilization of the new generation weapons and equipments, and as also validation of the self-reliant the defense equipment conceptualized and manufactured in India. They have been validated, they have proven their worth.
Right.
So a self-confident armed forces capable of using its new generation weapons and equipments as also going into the realm of new generation warfare, because whatever we have seen in last 5 days is a completely different form of warfare which we had seen earlier in Russia and Ukraine. So this is a war which has been fought from standoff distance. There is a war of a strong anti air defense network. So it is a war of networking. It is a war which highlighted the power of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And so many other things. So
Absolutely.
this has been also one of the strengths which has been displayed by the Indian armed forces.
Right. Right.
And of course, last but not the least, the strong political decision to go in for such an action and following up and taking into consideration the various pitfalls, because there will be definitely a lot of challenges coming in the way after having taken such strong measures.
Absolutely.
So the national will as well as the political will and the decisiveness of the government in power, I think these are the various few strengths which comes out from
These
this
are
4 or 5 day
major takeaways of this 5-day limited war, if I may use the word. Let me go to Lieutenant General Nishikanta Singh. After that, I'll go to Group Captain Mohan Topanging. General Nishikanta Singh, General Kalita was talking about the new warfare. Now, Pakistan army has been absolutely humiliated. They have suffered severe losses. Their air assets were absolutely almost neutralized. Now, this has also exposed the Chinese weapons, Chinese weapons and the Chinese weapons system, because 80% plus of all the weapons that Pakistan has today is supplied by the Chinese. So that is another aspect that has come out in this limited conflict, isn't it?
Wasbir, thank you very much for having me with you.
Welcome.
And what you have brought out is very right, because the Pakistanis have to do a lot of thinking now. Firstly, as you brought out the weapon system, they would have by now realized that the weapon system which they have got from the Chinese cannot really be relied upon. It is fine trying to grab the headlines, but in reality, can they really defend the country or not? It is a matter of question. So they will have to be now scratching their head, putting on the thinking cap, and trying to find out what to do. Second is what the Prime Minister has said about a new norm. There is a new strategy. He said again, it is a very good move by us. Reason being, I will take a minute of yours for some historical perspectives. When the Parliament was attacked during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, we adopted a new strategy known as the cold start. In fact, the Pakistanis kept on thinking how will they oppose India's cold start strategy. In fact, as I was handling Pakistan during that time, everything the Pakistanis were thinking about how to oppose, how to neutralize India's cold start. And so much so that they felt that they have no means. So they said that if there is a cold start, there is going to be a real problem for them. So they started even keeping their forces in the border area permanently. See, these days what one does is that during the peacetime you withdraw some forces or majority of the forces from the peace area.
Right.
But the Pakistanis kept it for a long time. Now, to follow this up, however, the Mumbai attack, really, we did not follow up with a cold start. Even though the red line was crossed, so they started again taking up all those things. So what I'm trying to say is that the new strategy is very good for us because now the Pakistanis have to do the thinking on two aspects. One is strategically, how do they counter us, and also equipment wise, what more new equipments they will be
we'll come to that. We'll come to the general. I will now go to Group Captain Mohanta Panging, but before that, I will like to show him and my other esteemed panelists full frame the Prime Minister's visit to the Adampur Air Base today. Let's go full frame on those visuals. That's a very symbolic Adampur base in Punjab. It's a forward base of the Indian Air Force. Nothing, we cannot miss the symbols. That on the background are two MiG-29 fighter jets, which we have highlighted, and also an S-400 air defense system. If you can see there, that is the Prime Minister. And let's look at the Prime Minister mingling with the Air Force men, with the air warriors there. And they shouted, Bharat Mata ki Jai. This is the Prime Minister. Let's spend a few seconds on these visuals before I go to Group Captain Mohanta Panging. Okay, now this is the Adampur Air Base. Now let me go to Group Captain Panging. Let's stay with the visuals and have everybody on the screen. Group Captain. Now the Pakistanis had said that Pakistan claimed its missiles has hit this particular airbase, the Adampur airbase runway. The Pakistanis said that it was destroyed. The Pakistanis said its China-made JF-17 fighter planes had destroyed the S-400 air defense system located at Adampur. Here is our Prime Minister within 48 hours of the ceasefire, standing there, talking to the tourists, chatting with them in a very relaxed and comfortable manner. Two MiG-29s in the background, the S-400 in the background as well. Mohanta Panging, Group Captain, what do you say?
Oh, they're fantastic. I've operated from Adampur Air Base, and it is one of our premier bases. And like you said, it houses the MiG-29. And the Pakistani, for all their false bravado, they claim they have attacked. And now you can see for yourself. And the Supreme Commander, so to say, the Prime Minister being with the troops, is obviously a morale boosting statement. However, I want to put forward 2-3 statements about this 4-5 days operation. This has been a historic one, which has changed the doctrine, like you are saying. It has given indication that India is no longer a soft state. We will no longer take it lying down. Earlier, we were a group of lions led by sheep. And now, we are led by a lion who can take the call when it comes to. And we have hit them like never before. And this is a unique operation that has taken place. It has shown the dominance of air power. This is evident to everyone that we have hit them with missiles from standoff ranges, with unmanned aerial vehicles. And today, the indications are that we have to build up our air power to such an extent that we can dominate. We have two terms associated with it: air dominance and air superiority. And this is an operation uniquely owned by firing weapons from standoff ranges with precision guided weapons. You know, I was a fighter pilot, and it has been my life dream to strike, bases like Sargodha, Rafiki, Jacobabad, Chaklala, Malirkand, Karachi. All have been hit during these operations. Can you imagine? We have my lifetime prepared maps and how to go and hit them. And you know what is the best part about it? We have hit them without obstructions. You see, there's so much claim about the HQ-9. There's so much claim about their other SAM systems, air defense systems they put up. What happened? How come our BrahMos, how come our Spice, how come our Scalp has penetrated unobstructed and hit them deep inside? You know, it is astonishing that Malir is in Karachi, that has been hit deep down. So where were their air defense system? Where was it? So this gives indications of what is in the future. You can watch it in the Ukraine war also, what is going on.
Yeah.
You can watch the Israel war also going on. And it is a lesson for us that which direction the future wars are heading.
Absolutely. Let me once again bringing General Lamba. General Lamba, what does it indicate, as Group Captain was saying, that Indian airstrikes were carried out virtually without any obstruction, and they were boasting of the Chinese HQ-9 and so on. They were talking about the Chinese missiles. Several of them were found intact, falling in Indian territory. Of course, that will be of tremendous interest to the defense scientists and other experts, not just in India but around the Western world, because they have not seen these Chinese missiles, because China has been spending billions of dollars in manufacturing and building weapons, but this is for the first time perhaps that they have been actually used in a war situation.
I think 2 points must be stand out clearly, and I think one is the integrated warfare that India has now gone into. This was the finest display of integrated warfare, jointness, and putting the three services and the space together, which is a domain that has never happened before. And I think the way we have integrated, and one of the statements even made by many senior experts, is that not a single of these components was imported. It was all made out of indigenous realization, research, and I think they've been able to put together a formidable system that was virtually impregnable to any air force or missile asset. And whatever asset of Pakistan tried to intrude was intercepted and destroyed. I think that's one part. On the other side, you've named HQ-9, 13, and the other setup that the Chinese have provided. This is bound to happen, Wasbir. When you import systems which are meant for countries in a different environment and just patch them into a system that you have, which is completely frayed and divided, such integration is not possible. The strikes by Indian missiles and whatever, like BrahMos and other missiles that I don't want to name, would have penetrated very easily. So it's actually the depiction of one of the most important factors of the immediate airspace above the borders, which today, as we've seen, need not be crossed either for dominance or for destruction. And I think that's the key takeaway in this few days of war, that if your systems are integrated, they will serve the purpose of preventing ingress. They will serve the purpose of doing penetrations like Lahore was struck and suppressed and deliver the maximum impact. I think second point is about Adampur. If you remember the Associated Press of Pakistan, on the 9th of May, it said that Pakistan JF-17 Thunder jets have destroyed India's S-400 deployed at Adampur and using hypersonic missiles. This, I think, the political depiction and projection of the Prime Minister himself going to this base talks volumes of a political projection to say it's more than anything else, it's the freedom of the Prime Minister to visit any airbase, particularly that's been declared as struck and destroyed by the
General.
adversary.
Absolutely,
so it made a huge
let's quickly listen to that mood in Adampur today. Since we are talking about Adampur, let's listen to the mood among the soldiers, among the air warriors there. Let's quickly, few seconds.
माता की भारत माता की भारत माता की
See, that is the energy. That is the energy. General Kalita, that the energy was absolutely infectious energy there, and this comes from some kind of a confidence that has never been seen before. And how do you see the road ahead? Now, what do you think Pakistan? Do you think Pakistan has got the message, or it's a country which is never going to see where they stand actually?
You see, the message has clearly gone, which are quite evident from the successes that has been achieved by Operation Sindoor in last about 5 days, starting from the night of 6th and 7th itself. So from then on to absolute destruction that has been caused in 11 of the air bases, including some of the strategic targets. Definitely, if a country doesn't get the message in such a case, then where will they get the message? That means they are only fooling themselves. Message, what I also want to highlight, that the message has not only gone to Pakistan and the terrorists that they cannot take India for granted. The message has also gone to the international community, that which I keep repeating or keep reiterating, that this is a new India. And I think this is going to upend the geopolitical environment in times to come, because the confidence that has been displayed, the power of weapons and the armed forces that has been displayed in subjugating a nuclear armed country is immense. That has been proven beyond any doubt. But I would also like to bring in the Pakistan factor, because Pakistan is a very, very irrational country. There are they have always been following the policy of irrationality, and led by a religious zealot who is the chief of army staff.
Yeah.
Asim Munir, General Asim Munir, he's known as Maulavi Asim Munir. So a nation which follows irrational policy, led by a religious despot, I would say.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to deal with such a personality or such a nation, and they are quite unpredictable in what sort of action they are likely to take.
Right.
Also in the present circumstances, because their back is against the wall.
Absolutely. Well, I'll come to General Nishikanta, but before that, I'll go for a very, very quick commercial break.
You are watching Northeast
নিম হালধি চন্দন এলোভেৰা মঞ্জিষ্টা পাম তথা নাৰিকলৰ তেল আদিৰে প্ৰস্তুত কৰা পতঞ্জলি বাথ সোপ ব্যৱহাৰ কৰক প্ৰাকৃতিক স্বচ্ছতা তথা সৌন্দৰ্য লাভ কৰক
এক্টিংত তুমি একেবাৰে হিট এতিয়া ৰান্ধি গপছত মই ৰান্ধি দেখুৱাম আছে নহয় দ্য বেষ্ট এভৰিডে মছলা প্ৰতিদিনৰ ৰান্ধা এভৰিডে মছলা দেখৰ সোৱাদ
পতঞ্জলি কেশকান্তি ন্যাচাৰেল শ্যাম্পু ইয়াত আছে 16 বিধ বনৌষধি যি দিয়ে চুলিক প্ৰাকৃতিক শক্তি তেন্তে এতিয়া চুলি চিগাটো নিষিদ্ধ
For the first time.
Well, you see, as General Kalita said, General Nisikanta, General Kalita was saying that, this message has not only gone to Pakistan, it has also gone to the international community. Now, one response I'd like to get your comment. In the last few days, there were multiple social media reports saying that, as India and Pakistan were engaged in that conflict and dogfights in the air and so on, China was supplying weapons reinforcements to Pakistan. They were using their Xi'an Y-20 huge cargo planes. That's one of the biggest cargo planes that they have. Huge cargo loads of weapon supplies to Pakistan. That was the reports in multiple media platforms. And yesterday, the Chinese went out of their way and made a very, very forceful denial They said that we were not supplying arms and weapons reinforcement to Pakistan in the last 4 to 5 days, 1 week, and we will take legal action. They even went to the extent of saying that we will take legal action, and they hastened to add that we are ready to bring about a help the two sides de-escalate. So the China was appeared almost jittery, General.
I'll put it, there are two aspects. One is, did the Chinese really help during the last 4 or 5 days? And the second is the Chinese trying to be the peacemaker. These two are two different things.
Yeah.
With regards to the being a peacemaker, obviously China would want to be playing the peacemaker's role because they are aware of making the annoying the Indians, because we all know that China is all-weather friend of Pakistan, but China cannot also literally ignore us. And because we have such a huge trade with them, and it will be at their loss if they really try to offend us. Secondly, with regards to the supply of weapons during the fight, I can rest assure you that India has the capability of picking up almost all the air traffics in Pakistan. And we have the ability to do many things. So, like any other information, yes, the Chinese are helping them, but really transporting during the fight itself is too much of a conjecture, I'll put it this way, because in any case, the Pakistanis will be having enough arsenals to fight for 3, 4, 5 days, and things cannot really run out in about 3 days' time. So I will put I will say that the supplying of weapon maybe somebody's imagination, but China trying to play mediator is a reality which we have to acknowledge.
Right. Now, Group Captain Panging, as the General said that China may or may not have supplied the weapons, that's not the main part. The main part is that China going all out to deny. They said that we'll take legal action. It was also almost a frantic denial, forceful and frantic denial by the Chinese. It came out in the Chinese Defense Ministry's official website. They said we absolutely deny, we have not supplied Pakistan any weapons reinforcement during the last 4 to 5 days. So they almost appear, we have not used our Xi'an Y-20 cargo planes to supply this and that. So they were, the manner in which they were denying itself gives an impression that they were a little bit rattled at this kind of news.
China better be worried. All our neighbors nearby, the neighboring countries have got Chinese weapons, Chinese platforms, Chinese aircraft.
Yes.
The performance in the present war indicates what kind of future market they are going to have. China is always expert in 2-3 things. One is hiding and the other is copying. They're expert in reverse engineering. Almost every plane they have is actually copied. The MiG-19 is called as the F-6. The MiG-21 is called as the F-7. The Tupolev bombers is called H-6. And similarly, all the cargo planes are also copies of Russian or American, whatsoever it is. So they don't have original technology. And first time what we saw technology this time, let's say we penetrated deep inside to Sargodha, Rafiki, Karachi and Chaklala. What happened to the Chinese JF-17s? What happened to the J-10s? What happened to the HQ-9? What happened to all these platforms? Why they could not stop? And these are questions we need to ask. And the Chinese, you see, they're busy renaming places in Arunachal with Chinese names. Many, around 60 places have been renamed. And like children, they keep playing. And, they have a lot of things to worry. Many of the Chinese platforms are things to. And also, I will point out one more thing. The Chinese have used, professionals to spread propaganda, to fake news.
Absolutely.
And if you remember the first 2 days, there's so many narratives that came out that so many fighters were shot down and C4ISR environment and all this. So what happened to this?
Right.
So our neighbors also need to worry. that what are they going to do with the Chinese weapons? Myanmar has, Bangladesh has, Sri Lanka has, Pakistan has, almost all of them have got Chinese weapons. Now they must be rethinking what to do.
Absolutely. Before going, I'll go to General Lamba, but let's take a look at this visual of Prime Minister Modi posing before a fighter jet model with the message written, and I quote, "Why enemy pilots don't sleep well." Why enemy pilots don't sleep well. So, deep symbolism on display there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi passing yet another message to India's adversaries. So, that is absolutely, and the Prime Minister himself had called the bluff of the Pakistanis by going to Adampur, which they said that they had bombed and destroyed Adampur. They have destroyed the MiG-29s, they have destroyed the S-400s and so on and so forth. Now, General Lamba, what is it now that we expect? Because the DGMO level talk, we saw the ceasefire being violated twice within the 2 days. Now, a lot of people, the conjecture is that China was absolutely not happy with the ceasefire, and they wanted that India should be projected as a volatile nation, because now after Trump's tariff war, lot of top global companies want to shift their operations from China to India, and this was the opportunity that the Chinese were taking to project that India is an unsafe country, it will be in the middle of a war, so don't go there. Do you buy this argument? How do you look at it?
Okay, this is the key outcome, as I see, of this war. And I think if India spoke about its strategic autonomy, Wasbir, this is the finest moment of projection. First, it was decision making. It was making your own equipment. It was aligning with the whole world. It was aligning with your allies and not so allies. Together, it was keeping the world aware of what we are going to do. And I think finally, this strategic doctrine vis-a-vis terror has shown the world that India is capable of acting on its own. The political will and the military capability have put together to show the world that this is a new power. This is a power that's truly strategically autonomous. And I say that because when we consider China in every factor, I have no doubt that, having studied China and their role in Pakistan for the last 25 years, being an all-weather friend, they talk about giving supplies. We were just discussing over the 5-7 days and 1 odd aircraft coming. Let's not forget that every bit of their component in terms of submarines, ships, and aircraft, as also radars, air defense systems, and the missiles, are all Chinese. So when we consider supplies, it's not what's happened in the last 4 days before the conflict or thereafter, but it's how they have constructed the Pakistan army. I have always been convinced they treat Pakistan as an extended province of China. And they have brought it up to defend themselves and to make Pakistan the frontline war adversary, even on their behest. And I think finally, the outcome for China is, you've shown the autonomy. You know what China's indulgence in Pakistan has been, equipment-wise, politically, and being just everywhere. It shows the world we this time go past the Chinese, factor completely, and we've acted on our own, and we will act on our own future.
Right. General Kalita, the Pakistanis, they started the copycat press conferences, but the Western media was generally supporting Pakistan. They were picking up this Pakistani propaganda. The 5 Indian jets have been shot down, and so on and so forth. They were showing pictures. I don't know from where. Maybe old pictures of some earlier crisis. Now, now our DGMOs. We'll show you those slides. Our DGMOs presented slides with full evidence. They've said that we have struck Falana air bases, and this is the video. We have struck Falana air radar system, and this is the video. Now, do you think that Pakistan has turned totally exposed after this, because we have the evidence, but they were unable to show the evidence. The same Western media which blindly supported them later got suspicious and started asking questions. On the right of the screen are the visuals that will go on. I request my producers to stay with that while I get General Kalita's comments on this.
Yeah, actually, initial, I think on 8th and after the 7th strike on the terror bases, when initial response came in, and thereafter on 8th till about 8th and 9th, I think most of the Western media tried to believe in what Pakistan tried to project about putting down 4 to 5 or 6 aircraft, including Mirage aircraft, and superiority of the Pak Air Force that they had achieved. And in fact, if you go back, even their defense minister, when he was asked proof, he had said it is available in social media.
Yes.
Nothing can be more, funnier than this. A defense minister quoting social media as the proof of the damage caused by their Pak Air Force. Even when you go through the entire briefing of the Pak forces, which was held by them, they didn't show any proof, like detailed photographs which were shown, aerial photograph which were shown by our DGMOs and DG Air Ops of what damage was done before, what was the status before the strike went in,
Yes.
and what is the status after the strike had gone in, and how much damage it has caused. So in fact, I think earlier part of today, there are a lot of things, memes which are available in social media. There is a long, YouTube video which was circulating, made by a Pakistani individual. Probably he's a YouTuber. It was about 26-27 minutes. So he mentioned about this only, that our generals have always been talking of responding and retaliating and inflicting number of damages in India. Where are those damages? Where are the proof of the damages? Are you trying to fool the entire nation and the entire world? So slowly, I think after that, after the DGMO's briefing and the details of proof that being shown, as also I think today the satellite imagery is available online. Anybody can subscribe and get those photos, satellite imagery and the Google imagery, and see for yourself what damage has been caused by and where. Like if a person sitting in France, if he wants to see the damage caused in Jacobabad airfield, he can go online, subscribe and to the map, and then go and have a look. And likewise, he can also have a look at the Amritsar or Adampur airfield.
Absolutely.
So people cannot be fooled by these sort of things. Nowadays, there is so much of transparency and visibility all across the world. Nothing can be hidden. So you can fool somebody for one day. You can't fool them in perpetuity. So I think that is how the world has understood that Pakistan has been selling them bunch of lies. In any case, Pakistan is always a country which has lived on denials. They have always denied presence of terrorist camp. They have always sold lies to various people. Osama bin Laden presence and his killing is the biggest example.
Yes, absolutely.
Something which everybody, the whole world has seen. But my point is, in spite of all these, why isn't the West, taking requisite steps against Pakistan? Pakistan, which is identified as the epicenter of terrorism now, and everywhere, the Prime Minister Modi had also made a mention that terrorist act taking place anywhere has a footprint of, has an origination from Pakistan. So in spite of knowing all these things, so many proofs are existing, everything is visible now. Why is West still very, very reluctant to punish Pakistan? That's a question I want to ask everybody.
That is the big question. That is the big question. Why is the West not giving adequate punishment, if I may use the word, to Pakistan? General Nishikanta Singh, now what do you think basically about the talks? The Prime Minister has made it clear that talks will be only on terror and the return of POK. There can be no talks with Pakistan other than these two issues. talk about their terror infrastructure. We'd like to know from them what steps they are taking to eliminate the terror infrastructure that they have created and nurtured all these years, and when are they going to return POK and how. These are the only 2 points that has been made very, very crystal clear by the Prime Minister, saying that there is nothing else to talk to Pakistan. And when he said that water and blood cannot flow together, it is an indirect reference to the Indus Water Treaty. I'll take your comments, but quickly go live to a quick press conference by the MEA. I'll not take much time. Let me quickly come back from that MEA briefing.
केंद्र शासित प्रदेश जम्मू और कश्मीर से संबंधित किसी भी मुद्दे को भारत और पाकिस्तान को द्विपक्षीय तरीके से ही हल करना है। इस नीति में कोई बदलाव नहीं हुआ है। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, लंबित मामला केवल पाकिस्तान द्वारा अवैध रूप से कब्जा किए गए भारतीय क्षेत्रों। Siddhant, you had another question regarding ceasefire and what sort of role other countries played, etc. See, the specific date, time and wording of the understanding was worked out between the DGMOs of the two countries at their phone call on 10th May 2025, commencing at 15:35 hours. The Foreign Secretary had made a statement in this regard, as you would be aware. The request for this call was received by MEA from the Pakistani High Commission at 12:37 hours. The Pakistani side had initial difficulties connecting the hotline due to connecting to the Indian side due to technical difficulties. The timing was then decided based on the availability of the Indian.
All right, that is an MEA press conference going on, gentlemen. One point that I picked up from this press conference was that one statement I picked up from very quickly is that any issue between India and Pakistan will be resolved bilaterally. So General Nishikanta Singh, I think General Singh, we have lost General Singh there. Let me go to General Kalita there. I'll come to you, Group Captain. Now that is a very important thing that we picked up, that any issue will be resolved bilaterally. There is no change in India's foreign policy doctrine that any issue between two nations will be resolved bilaterally without any third-party mediation. Now Washington, the United States, has been saying that Trump has been saying that, I have or we have brokered this peace. We asked them to do this, we asked them to do that, and therefore they have agreed. I thank them. Now, yesterday also the Prime Minister very categorically said in his address to the nation that our success in the military operations forced Pakistan and their DGMO called our DGMO and requested for a ceasefire. So on both sides, now it has been made clear.
Yeah, so you see, it has been India's stated position right from decades that Jammu and Kashmir particularly is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan, and there cannot be any third-party negotiation as far as its status is concerned. And that has been stated again and again in all the forums. And historically, Pakistan has been trying to raise this issue, not only the conflict over Jammu and Kashmir, on all the international forums, all UNSC and General Assembly meetings. We have seen their heads of their delegation coming and repeating their statement every time, again and again. So, and as also we find that OIC forums also, they keep raising and keep issuing statements, joint statements after the OIC meetings and all, reiterating their stance and requesting for mediation. But India has constantly opposed that and saying that it is a bilateral issue. It has to be resolved between these two countries. Alongside that, India has also been stating that terror and talk cannot go together. That's the stance that has been taken, which has been, supplemented by Operation Sindoor and the statement which has been made by the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday.
Right.
we also should take cues from what the Prime Minister had mentioned yesterday. At nowhere during his speech he mentioned about any mediation or any conversation regarding ceasefire with America, USA, UK or China or anybody else. He clearly stated that because of the damages inflicted by Indian armed forces, the Pakistan DGMO came online and requested the Indian DGMO for a ceasefire or a suspension of firing. So that has been categorically stated. And even in official statement also, I think that is what is being reiterated by the MES spokesperson. And that continues to be our stance.
Absolutely.
You know, there can be some back channel negotiations going on. That always goes on. You know, in international diplomacy, there are always back channel communication which carries on. But then, do you all listen to that back channel communication? Does your policy get triggered by such back channel communication? No.
Now,
you take your policy is based on your national interest.
Yes. Yes. Now there is everybody is backing our forces. Shortly I'll show you the visuals from Walong today, this morning. Shortly I'll show you those visuals very soon and get a comment from Group Captain Montopanging. But quickly, I had lost the line to General Nisikanta Singh earlier. General Nisikanta Singh, the Prime Minister has made it clear that if at all there is talks with Pakistan, it will be only on the issue of terror and how Pakistan plans to eliminate terror. We'd like to know that, and also on the POK, meaning return of POK. What do you think? It has been made very, very clear, and under the circumstances, no immediate talks with Pakistan, because they may either be forced to come and talk to India, or they will not come for talks.
I'll put it this way, that the Prime Minister knows that Pakistan is in the habit of playing spin, trying to deflect a topic. When we go for the talk, they are not going to address the terrorist activities. They are going to try. They will try to address the Kashmir issue as such. They will come out with that UN resolution. They will come out with so many things which really does not matter anymore. So you would have seen that whenever there is an incident takes place, they always come out with the thing that let us do an investigation, let the world community come in, give us the proof, give us this, give us that. At the end of the day, in spite of like 2016 in Pathankot, when they were allowed to come, what happened? Nothing really happened. They just took away whatever we have and they said, we'll come back to you. They never came back. So the Prime Minister is aware of this crooked behavior of the Pakistanis. So he is very right. He said, if we are going to talk, we'll talk only two things. There is terrorists and Gulam Kashmir. There is the Pak-occupied Kashmir, which needs to be returned back to India. So he is absolutely right. We cannot be fooled by a small step which will try to divert the attention, which will try to internationalize every conflict.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. Staying with this topic, I don't have very much time. I just have 5 to 6 minutes. Group Captain Panging, on the visuals on your right, you see the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. They walked the streets of Walong. There was a huge crowd following them. We also have those visuals. We'll show you where before they culminated in that statue that marked the Battle of Walong. Now, Chief Minister Pema Khandu, led by the Deputy Chief Minister, they led a rally this morning. It was a huge rally. It was a huge rally in Walong, actually, in Walong, Anjao district, which is not far from the line of actual control. You know the location better. Now, the symbolism from that is that, thousands of people giving their support to the Indian armed forces from close to the Chinese border. The message cannot be missed, isn't it?
Yes, very true. And I'll tell you that Walong is slightly inside. This time the Arunachal government held a cabinet Aapke Dwar at Kibitu.
Absolutely,
Kibitu is a border town. And let me tell you now, under PM Modi's leadership, it is no longer called Antim Gaon. It is called Pratham Gaon. So in Pratham Gaon, Kibitu, this cabinet Aapke Dwar was held. And Walong, just to coincidence that the Chinese during 1962 war came into Walong. So this is the significance of this moment. And to mark this, I want to tell you 2-3 more points. It is very interesting. See,
very quickly, Group Captain. Very quickly.
Yeah, these anecdotes you will not get to hear. People need to hear. See, whenever we drop a bomb or a missile, our air warriors, our Jawans, write special messages on these bombs and missiles meant for the enemy. And you know what kind of language is written. And if that bombs explode, but if it falls intact, they will get the message. And this is a tradition that is followed before each war.
Okay.
Second is I must tell you another thing. Sargodha houses their combat commander school. That is the Top Gun school. And that is where most of their prime assets are based, including nuclear. And we hit them without opposition. You can imagine what is going on in their minds. Third thing, this entire 4 days of operations gives India a great strength, position of strength to talk, discuss, to negotiate, to do diplomacy with our neighbors. Now the whole thing has changed. It has turned upside down. Now we talk to all our adversaries or our neighbors from a position of strength because we have demonstrated to the world that what we can do and what is our capability. And in fact, it changes the dynamics of strategic and tactical operations, even in Taiwan and even in nearby areas, it changes. So this is a change. These 4 days have changed the nature of
Group Captain.
Doctrine.
Absolutely. We'll show you visuals, live visuals from the Tiranga Yatra in New Delhi also. Final comments from you, General Lamba, and I'll take the final comments from all my panelists. General Lamba, very quickly, 20 seconds. What is your final comments?
I think the 2 quick points. One is the implications and impact of the new doctrine are going to be very, very serious and large and cover a large dimension from the military to domestic to international. The second challenge is actually about the POK. The Prime Minister's categoric statement that we will talk terror and we will talk POK. I think this is where he's giving the strongest message to China for the first time, because China has huge infrastructure projects, and I think they are looking at the China-Pakistan economic corridor. They have a 1,300-kilometer Karakoram highway, and they have built up Skadu Road. They are looking at the Shaksgam Valley, and I think the Kashgar-Abbottabad Road. If you take 4 of this, the POK question of the Prime Minister and re-emphasis on this part of the region that must get back to India is the complex issue and the most stringent message to both China and Pakistan.
Absolutely. There are live visuals coming from to hook into them. These are the Tiranga Yatra in New Delhi. Final comments from you, General Nishikanta, before I request the final comment from General Kalita. General Nishikanta first. 20 seconds, please.
What we do now is for the future of the country, for our future generation. We cannot let the enemy, the Pakistanis, get away with hitting us and saying that we will discuss, we will talk, we will invite international community for interference. And what the Prime Minister has done is very right. We must continue to, whatever they do, we must hit and hit very hard, so that they remember and they do not repeat the mistake. Thank you very much.
Final comments before I wind up this discussion, General Kalita.
Firstly, for the ceasefire to be I hope the ceasefire holds, but we cannot trust Pakistan. That's my first comment. We cannot trust Pakistan, so we need to be cautious. We need to trade with caution. Secondly, looking at the damage caused to the terrorist infrastructure and the psyche of their handlers, there is likelihood to be an upsurge of terrorist violence within Jammu and Kashmir, which may also spread to the other parts of the country. We need to be careful about that. There will be a surge in infiltration. We need to take care of that. And the third point for ourselves is we need to be self-reliant. We need to be go all out for Atmanirbharta and concentrate on capacity building. No country will come to our help. We have to be self-reliant. We have to fight our battle alone. That's a big lesson, I think. We need to continue to do capacity building. And the final thing about Battle of Wallong, I want to just 10 seconds.
Yes.
Battle of Wallong has a huge significance because that is one of the places in 1962 war where Indian Army launched an offensive. It's a strategic messaging by select. I have to compliment the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh for selecting Wallong as holding this rally to give that message not only to the nation, as also to the Chinese.
Absolutely, because it was at Walong that the Indians managed to give a bloody nose to the Chinese. We'll go once for full frame of the Tiranga Yatra in New Delhi. The Tiranga Yatra, the BJP, this is the BJP, we've got a full frame. This is the BJP has launched the Tiranga Yatra in New Delhi. These are lots of hordes of people. So on the whole, the message is absolutely clear that the nation is united, the nation is one today, and Operation Sindoor is going to be is the beginning of a new India as far as its defense and security approach is concerned, and we are on the threshold of a new line of action and new line of offensive as far as dealing with terrorism is concerned. I thank all my panelists for being on this program today despite the busy schedule. Lieutenant General Arvinder Lamba, Lieutenant General R.P. Kalita, Lieutenant General Nisikan Singh, and Group Captain Montupanging. Thank you very much indeed for being on the show, and viewers for watching the program. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Wasbir.
For the first time in Assamese television history, a show created, hosted, and crafted by artificial intelligence. Enter the world of AI where